So, Wes, a Better
Yes.
Business Bureau put together its scam tracker risk report. It came out with the top 5 riskiest scams for 2024, which are apparently also quite prevalent this year. What are they?
Yeah, that's right. So, number one scam in Canada is investment scams or cryptocurrency. And there's a couple of ways that scammers, let's just call them what they are, criminals, contact people. That's through social media, romance, sites, investment sites. They will also text you. They'll email you. So there's all sorts of ways that scammers get a hold of folks. The the basic premise is they will start to develop a relationship with you, and then they will gain your trust. They'll ask you to make an investment in crypto, typically. And they can show you even on a website, hey, it's gaining value. You're making money here. And pretty soon you're convinced this is a real deal. It's not. You're getting scammed. And some people have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in these types of scams. So, really, what you have to watch out for is somebody that's asking you to make an investment. Um, Cryptocurrency, especially, is a high risk investment. And so, we really advise folks not to get involved in these, and certainly with people that you don't know anything about online. You have no way of knowing whether they're real or not. And so it's a high risk scam. There's other investment scams, but that's the big one. And this ends up being millions and millions of dollars lost
Oh,
across Canada.
so let's talk about some of the other scams. I mean, you and I have chatted in the past about the grandparent scam, the romance scam, the puppy
Yeah.
scams. Are
Mhm.
they still in the top 5? Where are we at?
No, man, those are all, they're prevalent. Those things are still happening, unfortunately. The number two scam, the riskiest scam in Canada, is employment scams.
Oh,
So this is when you're contacted, usually out of the blue. I actually had a text this morning. Somebody said, I'll offer you $300 a day. You work 60 minutes and sign up now, kind of thing. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That's the employment scam. Often these are through texts that people are being reached out to. Number three on the hit list is home improvement scams. And this is a really common area, common problem. So you'll be approached, often a knock at the door, and somebody will say, "Hey, we have a really good deal going on right now on building fences or maybe repairing your roof, and can give you a good discount." Um, these are usually fly by nighters. If they actually start the work, they'll ask for a deposit, and often they'll disappear at that point. If they do the work, they're typically unlicensed, they're not insured, no WCB coverage, so on and so forth. And usually, if they actually do any work, it's shoddy work, it's not good work. So stay away from that. That's number three on the scams. Number four is online purchases. So you were talking about puppies scams. That's part of that. It's the online purchases. Could be anything: puppies, home care products, jewelry, almost anything you can buy online. The scam part of it is either you get an inferior product delivered or you don't get the product at all. Often what is the motivation, or almost always the motivation behind scams, is to get your money and get your personal identity information. So your credit card information, your name, your address, so on. So that's what scammers are after. And rounding out the list is the advanced loan fee scams, and this is where you're looking for a loan. A lot of these guys and women, scammers, operate by advertising online, and they will say they can give you a very good rate on a loan. They ask you to pay a fee up front, and it's fraudulent. They're not going to give you the loan. They're just trying to get money from you. And so that's the advance fee loan scam. So that's the top five scams.
and West police across the country reported that we've seen a 12% increase in fraud over the past couple of years. What should someone do if they fall victim to a scam?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge problem. I mean, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centers, said in 2024 that Canadians lost more than $600 million. That's probably really a low number. We know that only about 5% of people actually report scams to the authorities. So if you're scammed, if you become a victim, which means you've lost money, report it to the police. The police need to know this so they can put the appropriate amount of resources into investigating scams and fraud. That's what it is fraud. So it's a massive problem. The numbers are probably way, way bigger than what we actually have in front of us. The 638 million is many times probably that. So it's a big problem.
And there are over 200,000 incidents of fraud reported to police in 2023, Wes. But there's probably quite a bit more because perhaps maybe people are embarrassed that they fell victim to a scam. They don't want to report it.
No, absolutely. They are. They often are embarrassed. And it's a message that Better Business Bureau wants to get out to folks is do not be embarrassed by this. Report it. It's very important. And this can happen to anybody. There's some kind of misnomer out there. This just happens to older people. Totally untrue. This happens to anyone and everyone. I've talked to 18-year-olds. I've talked to 80-year-olds about scams. So it can happen to anybody. And really, the message is also that this impacts people's mental health. They can lose trust. You lose hundreds of thousands of dollars in a scam. Often that is going to have a major impact on your life. You can have anxiety and depression. So these are real people losing real money, and it's a serious issue.
So, how can we really protect ourselves from becoming a victim of fraud?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing is really use the appropriate security software on your devices. Make sure they're up to date. Two-factor authentication, using complex passwords, change your words often. And really an important part of this protection plan is get to learn about what to look for with scams, like we just talked about. If somebody's reaching out to you out of the blue and offering you a job that sounds great, that's probably a scam. Or if somebody's offering you to make, a 200% investment on your investment in a couple months, that's probably a scam. So really use a healthy amount of skepticism and talk to people, talk to your friends and family about these scams, because you'll be surprised how many of them have experienced this.
Wes LaFortune with the Better Business Bureau for Southern Alberta and East Kootenay. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, El. Take care.